Welcome to the DD Post for All Season Sports Show. I'm Drew Rubenstein here with Dave Raese on New Year's Eve. Dave, and in the newspaper, we recapped the year that was in news and sports the last couple days, and a lot of sports stories, some good, some bad for 2013. But let's start off in your opinion. What was the most significant sports story of 2013?
Well, and I consider significant, you almost have to go with the West Virginia football season. It didn't go well, and therefore there were some consequences, loss of a bowl and some things like that. So that's a significant outcome when, our football team the past 10 years or so has always done well, and, and some seasons they've been outstanding. And this year was definitely a step backwards. So I'd have to think that would be a very significant one, since it's the major athletic program in the state, really.
Mm-hmm. And no bowl to enjoy for the first time in a long time, and the 4-8 season has been dissected. But maybe to kind of lift people's spirits up on New Year's Eve, let's look at the most exciting sports story of 2013.
Well, yeah, we all felt it was locally Jed Jerko making it with the San Diego Padres, starting second baseman. Outside of a hamstring injury, he had a great year, almost 20 home runs or about that. And,
yeah, over 20.
A lot of people went up to Pittsburgh when the Padres came in to see him play, and there was a lot of excitement in this town. One of our own, who made it in the big time.
And you were there for one of his games in Pittsburgh. See some fans there, and I think it's still. I think it was interesting, and a lot of people just enjoyed it, and it was an odd situation just being able to go up to a game and identify, hey, that's the hometown guy, and somebody to kind of follow throughout the course of the year.
You don't get an opportunity to do that very much in towns like this, and so and baseball's a long way to get there too. A lot of guys trying out.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit on football, and men's basketball was also a little bit down. What sorts of things do you think we've learned as maybe just a fan base from the 2013 sports season?
Well, I guess maybe not to be spoiled is one thing. I think maybe we were taking some of these seasons to be granted. I mean, truthfully, we fired a coach in football who had won 9 games and had a great winning percentage, but we were told that 9 games wasn't good enough. So, I think that's one thing is that maybe we've been spoiled. And Coach Huggins, of course, had a great record. He came in and had a great run to the Final Four, and I think everybody expected us just to remain there. And we obviously last year's losing record, we haven't remained there. So I think we need to appreciate the good seasons a little bit more and not expect them as often as we should.
And I think a byproduct off of that is how about attendances at games. I mean, going into the Big 12, there was a lot of discussion about fans not being excited about the Big East brand of football, and bringing in these traditional powerhouses from the Big 12 was going to help boost attendances. And yet Texas and Oklahoma make their first trips to Mountaineer Field. Neither one was a sellout. Attendances has actually dipped over the last year and a half, and I think, would you agree? I mean, it just shows ultimately fans want to see winning products versus great opposing teams.
Well, I think that's part of it, and I think the fans would show up, but I still think there's some hard feelings about the change and and the way it was done. And Bill Stewart is a tough act to follow personally. He was such a great guy, and everybody loved him. And so when you bring a coach in like Coach Holgerson, who's more thinking about the actual game and the X and O's, he's not quite as public and things like that. So I think that's, partly been some of the problem. I think that there's still some fans who are a little bit bitter maybe. And of course, when you don't get the wins, then that definitely adds up.
Mm-hmm. Looking at some of the other top stories, I mean, the rifle team winning another national championship comes to mind. Women's soccer team, the one program that hasn't really had a Big 12 transition to kind of overcome. It's done well and won the Big 12 championship regular season and conference title. Local track teams and cross-country teams piled up a number of state championships. Other things that pop into your mind as well?
Well, the two high school, Morgantown University high school football teams did well. University was the one that stopped Morgantown from going out. So, It's too bad they got matched up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Chazzy Thomas, of course,
Right.
being the player of the year in high school, which I think was well deserved. Morgantown High's basketball team with Nathan Adrian. You know, and he goes to play at WVU. First time we've had that in a long, long, long time. So that was very positive, I thought.
Absolutely. And now that it's been 2 complete years in the Big 12 season, at least for the fall programs, and we're closing at the end, can we finally say the Big 12 transition is over?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I really do. I don't know how much of a transition you go from one conference to the other than the traveling and stuff, but you have to travel. All the players in football and basketball are good all over the country, though I have to admit the ones in the Big 12 in football are probably better than the ones in the former Big East. But nevertheless, you know, not all of the teams are that great, and so I think that should be, you know, settled in, and we should know what we're doing in the conference and who we're up against.
All right, very good. Dave, appreciate your time once again, and hope everybody has a happy new year. Thanks for tuning in to thedpost.com. Please continue to watch for the latest on the Mountaineers. Thanks for watching.